I guess I didn't know if I wanted to farm. I grew up farming, and that's kind of what I knew how to do. And when I left home under the circumstances, I didn't have a lot of options, and so I bought some cows and rented a farm and started farming.
The 2017 Richland County OYF Award goes to a most deserving farm, where a team of people work together every day to manage the home farm and provide custom farming service to many farm operations throughout the area. It all starts with Craig and Jessica Holgerson and is made complete by their family and team of employees.
He was a customer at the bank I worked at, and one night he came through the drive-thru and asked me to go on a date to haul a load of hay, and seems like we've just been together ever since.
Jessica Holgerson has embraced her role as a farmer and a mother.
I grew up in the country when I was younger, so a lot of me is country. So I don't know if I really thought about being a farmer's wife or not, but I'm real thankful that I am. I'm glad that I got a chance to be a part of the farming community, the agriculture community, to really understand what sort of life this offers you. The best and the worst, but even the worst is still better than a lot of the other walks of life, in my opinion.
Craig and Jessica are not only proud to be farmers, but are pleased to be farmers raising their family on the farm.
I don't think that there's a better way out there. I think that our children see what really is life every day. The trivial things that other people sometimes get wrapped up in, they don't even have a care for that. They know what responsibility is. When something's hard, just because it's hard, you don't give up. You don't feel good. The animals still have to be fed. You work through it, and every day I watch them, and their character becomes a little bit more evident, each one in their own way. But they're not like children. They're just small people. They learn to function in the realm of a real world setting where actions have consequences and they have rewards. I like that they're learning how to make those choices for themselves to reap those rewards.
Walnut Grove Dairy is quite a remarkable operation today. It's grown from humble beginnings that saw Craig working 2 jobs.
After I started farming, I did construction during the day and farmed at night just to help pay the bills and get started, and I rather would have farmed than do construction, I guess. It helped a lot. When we first started, we built a lot of our own buildings and our own parlor and everything ourselves, so it's really helped.
Craig's decision to make the current farm his home was influenced by many things.
We were renting another farm over toward Hillsboro, and his son got married and wanted to farm, so I had to move, and we were doing custom farming, and this farm we were currently on was one of our customers, and he was a young farmer and decided he didn't like farming, and I wasn't able to afford to buy a farm, and he was at one. He would rent it to us for a couple years, and so I had to have a place to go with the cows, so we moved to this farm.
When you look at Walnut Grove Dairy and consider how it's changed over the years, it begs the question of Craig, was there a plan in place to be able to create the farmstead we see today?
It was just one day at a time. When we first moved here, it was just making the old stanchion barn milkable at that time, and we just took it one day at a time after that.
The farm has changed dramatically since it became home to the Holgersons. Walnut Grove Dairy is home to 550 Jersey cows that are milked 3 times a day. Jerseys were a natural choice for Craig many years ago.
My dad had jerseys, and so when I left home, I bought some of his cows, and that's how I started, and that's what I was used to. They're a small cow. We can get a lot of milk. We can get good components. Feed efficiency on the Jersey is so much better, and just overall act like they're alive to me, I guess. I don't have a lot of experience with Holsteins, so I can't knock them too bad, but we can get more cows in a smaller space and just less problems, I guess.
Jerseys are pretty. They're brown, just like the chickens and the dogs.
We heard that before. I don't know if it was planned that way or not, but we had an old boxer named Pal, and he was white, just for the record. He was given to Craig as a puppy by his sisters, and he was a wonderful playmate and babysitter when our oldest daughter was a baby. And so when he had passed away and we needed another dog, that's the breed we looked for. And it just so happens that the fawn, the brown, is the fawn color. That's easier to come by than all white, I guess. So we got brown cows and brown dogs and brown chickens. We like brown eggs.
Craig and Jessica Holgerson's Walnut Grove Dairy Farm operation includes 1,300 total crop acres, 650 acres of corn, 130 acres of soybeans, 140 acres of wheat, and 380 acres of hay.
We own 320 acres and about 250 is tillable. When we first bought the farm, it was 160, and we've added over the years from joining neighbors that wanted to sell. Most of the land we own is all ridge, bigger ridge ground. Our farm's in the valley, and so all the feed comes down, the manure goes up. We use contour strips. We do a lot of no-tilling and a fair amount of minimal till because we don't have a very big manure pit, so we have to haul manure sometimes when it's not the best ideal situation, so we have to rip some ground where the trucks pack it down, but we try not to. We don't do any chisel plowing or any of that anymore.
In addition to planting, managing, and harvesting their own crops, Walnut Grove Dairy provides chopping, hauling, baling, and planting services for farmers in an approximate 40-mile radius of the farm.
I left home and didn't have no help, and my neighbor, about a half mile down the road, his children are really young, and I needed somebody to help me pull some chopper boxes, and I didn't own any of that, and so I would take my tractor and pull wagons for him, and then he would turn around and bring his stuff and help me, and then it got to be where I bought a couple more pieces, and then I was doing most of that, and then the neighbor wanted me to do some, and we just kind of ended up doing a couple more things, and it was a way for me to be able to afford some equipment that I couldn't have afforded. And so then I just kind of kept growing, and pretty soon we went from pull type to self-propelleds and bigger equipment, and one customer led to another. And the first farm I started on, I only had room for 18 cows, and then I was able to rent a different farm. We had 40 cows, and that was as much as I could milk there. And so I was milking 40 cows and doing quite a lot of custom farming. At that point, I was running 3 different states, chopping. And then when this farm came available, in order to be able to buy it, we sold the custom farming business and bought the dairy. I was getting tired of being gone that much. And then that's also about time Jessica came into my life, and I didn't want to be gone that much. And it seemed like it was just kind of a hard thing to stay away from. A lot of old customers kept bugging me, and so we started custom farming again, and here we are with bigger dairy and more custom work.
Anyone with any farm knowledge knows that getting your field work done in a timely fashion is tough. So how do you manage 1,300 acres of your own crops and provide timely service to other farm families?
It's very hard. probably one of the most thankless jobs there are. It seems like sometimes you can't please anybody, but we work around the clock and we do what we can when the weather shines. And as far as our own, sometimes mine gets put on the back burner because I know what quality feed means to their dairy, I guess. And so we sneak in theirs, and sometimes we're doing ours at night. We get her done.
The challenge would be easier met with cooperative weather.
If you could just have a week or 10 days of nice weather, you could wrap everything up in one time. That's one reason we run 2 choppers and have more equipment than maybe some, is because so we can, with the small windows, we can get a lot done and try to keep everybody happy.
Matt Yoder is an integral part of Walnut Grove Dairy. Matt has worked with and for Craig and Jessica for many years and is a very capable mechanic and operator. Maintenance is vital to keep the operation on track.
Every time we get done with a crop of hay or we get done with a job, we try to get everything ready, everything fixed, greased, checked over, so that as soon as we need to go on the next crop or next job, that it's ready to go and we don't have any delays.
Many farms have relied on a farm truck over the years. But at Walnut Grove Dairy, truck is plural and trucks play a huge role every day.
For one thing, trucks are a lot cheaper to run. Parts and maintenance and service on tractors are very expensive. Truck parts are readily available. And then also, in a lot of circumstances, trucks, they get around the fields just as good or sometimes even better than tractors do because they're carrying their load instead of pulling it. And I don't know, I guess we kind of got a soft spot for trucks. The trucks are definitely faster if you have a long haul. Some of these newer tractors with CVT transmissions that do 33 miles an hour on the road, they can almost keep up with trucks. If on shorter hauls, and on really short hauls, they're actually faster than trucks because they can turn around faster in the field. We buy a truck and we'll cut the frame, we'll add to it, shorten it up, whatever we need to make it the right length. We'll add axles, we'll redo airlines, wiring, repaint, anything that needs done to them, we can do it ourselves.
Matt's desire to learn and do a good job served Walnut Grove Dairy very well.
I like to know how to do what I'm doing. And if I can't do a good job at what I'm doing, then I'm not satisfied. I started slowly. I started learning the basics on older tractors, and as time goes on, you run into new things gradually, and it's never ending. You just keep learning every day.
When Walnut Grove Dairy pulls into a farm with a chopper, you'll find Matt packing silage. Craig credits Matt with doing an excellent job at a task that's essential.
If you don't pack your silage properly, all the money you spent planting the crop, harvesting the crop, really doesn't mean anything. Because if you have a lot of spoilage, or you're not going to get good milk out of your feed, and you end up spending a lot of time and money hauling your spoilage back out on the field.
Back and forth. Back and forth. Back and forth. Curiosity made me ask if there's ever a time Matt can think about things other than back and forth.
It depends. Sometimes if it's coming in fast, you really got to concentrate on what you're doing. Or some places it can be a challenge to make a good pile or make a good bunker, given the circumstances. So sometimes it takes a lot of concentration, but other times, you got plenty of time to count the flies.
Craig and Jessica have 4 children. Elora is 12, Megan 9, Olivia 5, and Cole is 3. In addition, the Holgersons' Walnut Grove Dairy has 9 employees.
I wouldn't get nearly as much done as we do if it wasn't for my girls. Elora is 12, and if I need to be driving in the truck, or if I, for whatever reason, can't be there for chores, she can pick up and pretty well run things. She's started off being in the barn, being there with chores with me every day of her life. She understands the magnitude, how big a deal it is to take care of those animals, and she has a love for animals that is unending. She's a friend to all animals. I can depend on her. She's my teammate.
In the morning, I take care of my animals and help Mama with the calves. In the night, I take care of the calves and mix of milk, water my hens and stuff.
Which animals are your animals?
The pony, the chickens, the puppies are somewhat up mine.
What's your favorite part of living on the farm?
The animals, the space to run around.
Do you ever get tired of having to work so hard?
Sometimes, but I normally enjoy it.
Do you have some hobbies or things that you like to do when you don't have to do chores?
I like to pet my animals and take them for walks, stuff.
What's your favorite subject in school and why, Elora?
Spelling. I like to write big words. Reading a lot.
What's your favorite thing to read?
My reading book, it has a lot of stories about people, kids.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to stay here on the farm and help take care of the cattle.
Is that something that you've talked to your folks about?
Yeah.
And they think that's okay?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. If somebody said that was your age, one of your friends, what's the best part of being on the farm, what would you say, Elora?
There's space to run, being with my family.
Are jerseys your favorite animal?
Somewhat.
What's good about a jersey?
They give lots of milk.
What's bad about a jersey?
They're a lot more picky than Holstein.
Megan is the creative body around here. She has the mind that's always inventing and dreaming something up and gravitating people toward her. And here, just as of late, she's had to get up early in the morning with us, where before she really wasn't. And she's just bright in the calf barn in the morning. She's happy and she's singing, and she just kind of brightens everybody up.
The chores I do on the farm is helping in the house in the morning and dumping out my buckets and doing the grain in the barn in the night.
What do you like most on the farm?
The farm is big, so I can run around and play.
Do you enjoy working with calves?
Yes.
Tell me about the chickens.
The chickens give us eggs in the morning, but they sometimes give us too much, so we have to give them to our workers.
What grade are you in, Megan?
4th grade.
What's your favorite thing to study in school?
Reading.
Why do you like reading?
I get to read books and I like reading.
What's your favorite books to read?
I like to read Boxcar Children.
What do you want to be when you grow up, Megan?
A vet.
Why do you want to be a vet?
I like helping animals. I don't like seeing them hurt.
Olivia's my little student. She's always been real smart for her age, and she does some buckets now. She dumps some buckets, and it's her job to gather the eggs. And her job she always has is she has to keep watch after her little brother. And that's probably a bigger job than any of us could possibly do, but she does a great job of it, and he thinks the world of her. And he hasn't started having any of his own jobs yet, but he did tell us the other day that he'd milk the cows if he could use the tractor. So I guess we kind of know which direction his chores will go in.
What's your favorite part of being on the farm, Olivia?
I like to gather the eggs and help the animals do stuff.
Are you afraid of chickens?
No, but I'm afraid of the one in the little cage.
Is he kind of mean?
Yeah, that's Cole's chicken as well.
Now, what do you want to be when you grow up, Olivia?
I don't know yet.
You haven't decided, huh?
No.
Are you in school now?
Yes, I do homeschool.
What's your favorite thing to do in homeschool?
Do my math.
Are you good at math?
Yeah, but I'm still not good at reading them. I'm still read a couple words.
Tell me a math problem that you know how to do. Can you add?
Yes.
Can you give me an example?
What's an example?
Like 1 plus 1, do you know what that is?
1 and 1 makes 2.
That's exactly right. You are very good at math. So, what's your favorite game to play on the farm?
Probably hide and go seek.
Are you really good at it?
Yeah.
Who's the best? Is Cole the best hider, or is he Laura or Megan, or are you Olivia?
Megan and I am.
What else did you want to say, Olivia?
I also be helpful by watching Lou so he doesn't interrupt my sisters and my mom while we're doing house cleaning.
You heard Olivia say that she's homeschooled. In addition to her many other responsibilities, Jessica is teaching her own children. Many farm families enjoy hanging a sign in their home reading Farm, Family, and Faith. At Walnut Grove Dairy, it's more than a sign. Farm, family, and faith is a way of life.
I didn't know how to homeschool, but I got to start trying it when Elora was in preschool. I didn't start out raising 70 calves on milk at a time either. I got to start with 7 calves, and I got to start with 1 child. And then each year that goes by, the calf numbers have gone up, the children in school have gone up. Probably the greatest lesson that I've learned through farming and through homeschooling is some things just really aren't important. The things that really are important, your farm and your homeschool, your children, they'll teach you. If I am willing to give it my all, both homeschooling and farming are going to give a lot back. There is no greater feeling than when you teach your child to read. When you can take that little person and this gleam is in their eye that they just read something. All the hours of wondering, how in the world are we going to get through this? How are we going to, I'm late for chores. It's all worth it.
George Kenny of Simpson's Tractor in Richland Center has had the privilege to work with Craig and Jessica and appreciates the work they do.
It's worth to drive by someday if you're just out for a drive. Take a trip and drive by Walnut Grove Dairy, because you'll see where the Holgersons and their staff, they work very, very hard to make this place a top-notch operation, and there's nothing out of place. No matter what time of year you drive by there, it always looks very neat, very clean, the same always, all the time. I don't know how they get to 30 hours in a 24-hour day that they do it, but they somehow make it happen. But it seems like it's day in, day out. They do the same thing. They have a wonderful staff that helps them, but they work very, very hard at it.
George has very much appreciated the chance to be able to serve the Holgersons.
I met Craig at the dealership. He was down, and he was wanting to, maybe it was a skid steer bucket or something, and he just wanted to start getting to do more business here locally, and that's what he emphasized on. And so it kind of started out from there, and then when his custom operation got going more and more with his custom chopping and stuff, he started doing a lot more business with us with the forage boxes and stuff and skid loaders and everything. But Jessica, met her on the farm. She's very busy with the children, always working, always smiling.
George says that compliments are in order for the way equipment is maintained, used, and cared for at Walnut Grove Dairy.
Every time I started driving by there, it's like, holy man, they just built another building, or they're just added another barn. And then the machine shed was just a small shop, and the last couple of years they added on, just took the old machine shed and turned it into all shop now, and it's very, very state-of-the-art. They can fix and build about anything that, any task that's in front of them in their farm equipment. They take extremely good care of their equipment, and everything always looks brand new. It's just hard to believe it's been used, but they work very hard to keep it that way. We have a lot of great farms in Richland County. We're very blessed with all the farms that we get to work with, Richland County and beyond. But this is a place you drive by it and it's like, wow, look at this place. You drive into the place and you get to know the people, and it's everything and what it looks like from the outside. Very, very good family to work with, and they're pretty well respected. I've helped him get some customers in the custom harvesting business, and people got to know him. They speak very, very highly of him. They treat their farm as if it's their own when they're on your farm doing their harvesting and stuff. And I know it's been a challenge the last 2 years with all the wet conditions. A year ago, Craig said it was such a stressful task because it was so wet and everything, but most people that have them do custom work always have them come back because they speak highly of them.
We can come in there and do the job fast and give them some pointers, and being able to see them over the last 20 years do better because of what we've done. I mean, some of the times you still get hay rain done, but it's just team effort and watching. And some of our customers, we've watched their kids grow up too. That's, I guess, the rewarding part. And knowing that you can come in and do something in a few hours that would take them, a week to do. And just, you got a small window and we know we can get her done for them. I guess that kind of makes a guy feel good, I guess.
Combining is very rewarding. It's kind of the one reward that a farmer gets at the end of the year. It's very satisfying to see the corn or wheat come into the grain tank and see it go on a grain cart. It's one of the best feelings in farming, I think. We do custom chopping, mowing, merging. We have big square baler, a round baler, a wrapper, combining, hauling silage and hauling grain. The custom part is active pretty much as soon as you can get started in the spring till whenever the corn harvest is done in the fall. When we get done, we try to wash everything up before we put it away. So then in the winter time, we bring each piece in the shop and we'll just go through it, just check everything, change oils in the gearboxes, just give it a thorough going over to make sure it's ready for the next season.
Craig and Jessica appreciate all farm families and are very thankful for those families Walnut Grove Dairy is able to serve. Jessica says that her family hopes the rest of the world that depends on farmers will pause to be thankful.
Not every family has the ability to have a farm, but if every family has the ability to teach their children to have an appreciation for farmers and for understanding that sometimes the weather is your worst enemy, the markets, the breakdowns, the things that are totally out of our control, and yet in order for their family to have butter on their toast, we still go to work every day. And I would like for there to be more non-farm families out there that are teaching their children to respect and almost maybe to look up to farmers for the hard work that they do in order to provide food for this country and a lot of other countries around the world.
Richland County has honored outstanding young farmers since 1959. It's a tradition that's told the story of hard work, perseverance, dedication, wisdom, knowledge, and passion for land, animals, and the environment by the people who are the backbone of so much that is good in Richland County.
Richland County is blessed and should be very proud to honor the Holgersons and their employees for joining the elite group of outstanding young farmers who have been honored in the past in Richland County, and congratulations on a job well done and well deserved.
It's the pleasure of the Richland County Outstanding Young Farmers Organization to honor Craig, Jessica, Elora, Megan, Olivia, and Cole Holgerson and their entire team, who make Walnut Grove Dairy of Cazenovia a part of Richland County we can all be very proud of.